Wow, you flipped 8 homes. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
my second year in the business.
That's amazing. So I feel like a lot of times, a lot of people might like stop after that first one just because they're like, that was a lot of work. And then they don't do anything with the lessons learned. And this is a perfect example. And now I'm talking to everyone. This is a perfect example as to why not taking actions on the thing you learned is just like having Netflix or listening to 100 podcasts, right? You have to take actions on the lesson learned. And sometimes, like in Leka's, what she just said about her story about not making any money on her first one, she didn't let that knowledge go to waste. She didn't let that entertainment of 10 podcasts or, whatever. She now put those things into continual action and then flipped. That's crazy that you flipped that many homes in the next year. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, was there ever a point where you thought maybe this wasn't for you and maybe this wasn't the route you wanted to take, or were you 100% all in, ready to rock and roll?
Oh my God, no. I had so many doubts, right? Like it was not easy. Even flipping 8 homes like on that second year was really hard. I mean, everything that could go wrong went wrong. You think you flip 3 homes and then that's all, and you've learned a thing or two. And then you know what to do when something goes wrong. But then you just come across newer challenges, something that you never anticipated. Um, I remember one of those homes we bought in summer and there was no basement leak. And so we decided not to put a French drain in. Then that winter, we had the worst snowstorm, and it doesn't snow in Seattle. We had the worst snowstorm, followed by a really bad rainstorm. And that just meant that there was a massive basement leak. And when one house leaks, you can be rest assured that a lot of homes in the county are also leaking, which means all your basement leak abatement companies are busy or charge much more money than you would normally pay for it. And this is after we had put drywall, carpet, baseboard trim, right? So I'm like, wow, like this is really and then if you leave the water there, then there's mold damage, there's other issues that you have to deal with, insulation issues. So you think you've learned a lesson, but then new things keep cropping up. Honestly, it took me about 5 to 6 years of being in the business to say, you know what, that's okay. It's another fire that I need to put out, and that's totally it's just going to cost me a little bit more money and time probably, and that's okay. But it took a while to get there.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. What advice um, would you give to those that are maybe in that position where they've just had their first deal and it didn't go the way they wanted it to go, and maybe are in their second deal or whatever, and it's not going the way they wanted to? What helped you persevere to the next one? And like you said, we're always putting out fires. I feel like as investors, that's what we do all the time. But what is a
Right.
piece of advice that you wish you would have known back then that you could give our followers now?
What's amazing is, like, take it from my experience, there's always a solution. If one buyer passes on it, there's another buyer. If one contractor is coming on up too high in price point, there's a different contractor that can come in at your price or even lower. The best thing for you to do is network. Go to, have a strong solid community where if you need something, you can contact someone and they can send you 15 contacts for people that can help solve an issue. um, and then just have grit. And I know that's like the oldest thing in the book, but honestly, if you can trudge through every problem just one step at a time, then soon your problems will go away. They'll be there, but you won't care enough.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's perfect. I think like someone just raised their hand.
Hi, nice to meet you. Two things. First one is you may have left Nordstrom, but like you're still like amazingly dressed. So it's
Oh
like
my God.
you kept that part of it. I love that. So I wanted to compliment you on that. And then my second question is, or second thing I wanted to say is, when you got started in real estate, did you intentionally seek out flipping opportunities for your first deal, or did it just kind of like, was it thrown at you and you were like, okay, I'll do this because it was the first thing that that you had available at the moment at the time? Because you mentioned that you weren't like handy, or you weren't like, you weren't the one who had contractors. So did you want to like do that from the very beginning, or did it just kind of happen?
Okay, so I'm from India, and in India we don't flip homes. We tear them down and then we build new. So I didn't even know that this concept existed. So when I started researching real estate, it was always to build new, like to build, to put in all the land develop, the horizontal construction, so utilities, and then vertical construction. And so I started researching that, and then I was like, oh, it's not that easy, right? Because you have to first find a lot. Then there's permitting times. And because construction is a big deal in Seattle, there's so much construction. Cities can take forever to give you a permit. So that could take 6 to 8 months. Then there's the construction time frame itself, which is another 9 to 12 months. And then you go to sell the house. And then if nobody wants it, you're toast. So I was like, okay, I don't have 3 years to spend on one deal. So how do I accelerate that process? And through that research of finding a new construction deal, I found Fortune Builders, and Fortune Builders said, flip a house. And I was like, what is that? And so I started researching flipping homes, and soon enough, I found that there was actually a whole like investor community in the Seattle market that all did this. They were all investors, they had rentals, they were flipping homes. And so I started to learn more that way. And with Fortune Builders too, I learned a lot. Like I just thought I had a very good foundation. So no, I got into this thinking I was going to do new construction.